Bill and Kate, I think you guys are up next.
If you would please come forward.
Good morning, everyone. We're going to start us positive note. Oh, can you guys hear me? All right. Bear with me. I'm going to read you something that happened this month. On June 11th, a resident suffered a sudden medical emergency at the pickleball courts. In those critical first moments, Bill Hunt and Randy Shoemaker acted without hesitation. They immediately stepped in and began providing life-saving care, giving the resident the best possible chance until help could arrive. Officer Brundle, one of our emergency medical responders, responded quickly and assisted with the patient until EMS arrived. Thanks to the teamwork, calm actions, and willingness to help, the resident is now home and recovering. It is our privilege to recognize two community members who exemplify what it means to look out for one another. Their courage, compassion, and selfless actions made a real difference. Okay. It is my honor, on behalf of Fairfield Glade Community Club, the Racquetball Sports, and the Fairfield Glade Police Department, to recognize the Chief Citizen Community Accommodation for Valor and Service to Mr. Bill Hunt, and as we're here presenting, Ms. Barbara. She has been brave enough to present these awards, who was the resident that was suffering the medical incident. So she's going to actually present the awards, and we're so happy that she's here with us today. So. And next, Miss Randy Shoemaker. I know we're standing, but if you're able to, please give these two a standing ovation. This is sincerely a great moment. You want a picture? Okay, good deal.
And from the board's perspective, we want to recognize the people and thank everything that it turned out the way it did. Because it could have been a very different outcome if people had not gotten themselves intervened and taken care of this. So this is really truly a life-saving event. So thank you very much. All right, I need a motion to approve the minutes of the prior board meeting of May 28th.
I move we approve the board meeting minutes for May 28th.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Are there any members' questions on the agenda for this morning?
Greg, you going to tell us what we can ask questions of? Greg, can you tell us on the agenda?
I will go through that as we get down to here, yeah. Well, I'm just hearing your comments, and I will tell you where we're...
Well, I'm supposed to ask questions on the agenda, but I don't know if I'm going to be asking them when I ask.
All right, well, when we get the commissioners up here, or the commissioner up here, Alan is out of town, so we'll have, you can ask questions of Colleen. That'll be perfectly fine. We will allow you to ask questions of the election committee because if there's questions you have about dates or what's going on with that, that's the most appropriate time. We will wait for the treasurer's report, the general manager's report, the president's report. Well, yeah, I'm sorry. I got ahead of myself. Thanks, Scott. The Druid Hills presentation that's going to be made, you can ask questions there. Okay. The general reports all the way through the ACC and declarant report, well, there will be no questions there. And the others are just pretty much, there will be a presentation with the Trails Committee, and you can ask questions there. And then finally, you'll have an opportunity to ask questions at the end. Okay?
Thank you. Okay, so Bill, can you share with us during your comments the plan as you've laid it out now for Stonehenge, the day Druid opens, the month Druid opens, and so forth? And again, it's Stonehenge when I'm asking for the plan. Mary Kay, can you just, for the members, answer a question during the treasurer's report? Just talk about why we do a financial audit every year. Going back to, again, the actual audit indicated that Wyndham gave us over $8.5 million in land. What was that? Also in the financial report, Jason, if you could. So the audit report, those financial statements are it. That's the bottom line. Those are the actual audited statements, as I understand it. So under food and beverage, we lost $550,000 combined food and beverage. Of that, how much of that was actually consultant and contractor, i.e. Bobby Jones' cost? There was $472,000 spent for consultants and contractors in the financial statement. How much of that was actually Bobby Jones and therefore part of the loss? And what was the Stonehenge loss of that 550? Does that make sense? Ellen, under the declarant, the announcement about the 300 lots, can you give us an idea of approximately how many lots
1 minute, Tom.
the declarant obtained that weren't Glade and County lots? And then, again, I take and look at the annual report and Mary Kay in that there's a schedule that talks about the numbers of future investment. And in that report, is that tied to the actual reserve study? It seems to indicate it was, but it also indicates that maybe it wasn't. So I'm not sure which is reasonable and how much the investment actually is. Thank you.
Okay? Anyone else?
And you may cover this in your report. It has to do with the dining card, and I'm not sure what you officially call it. The members, it's a $100 card.
Oh, the preferred dining.
Preferred dining
Yeah.
card, thank you. Just wondering what the current sales are on that, and also, where does the $100 go to? Does that go into the general fund, or does that go back into the F&B budget, since technically the dollars are being taken away from the F&B food, wine? So thank you.
Okay. Anyone else? Hearing nothing, we'll move to the Cumberland County Commissioner's report. Colleen?
So I don't get to talk to you all very often, but the mayor's not here, which is obvious. And I don't know if you know why he's not here, but he got married last week. And we're so thankful and happy for him. And you'll see him at the 4th of July pancake breakfast with his new family. So be sure to congratulate him. It's going to be a challenge. He has 2 granddaughters, and he'll have now an 11-year-old stepson. So we'll see how that goes. So anyway, he's sorry to miss. So a couple of things I do want to share with you that's happened pretty importantly the last month. You may not know, but the Budget Committee approved an increase in their charitable donation from the county to support the EMR program. And it was a significant financial increase thanks to the relationships that the Fairfield Glade Fire Department has developed over the past, since I've been here with the county. So that is a great increase for Fairfield Glade. It still has to go through the final budget, but I don't anticipate any problems with that. So thanks to Chief Kirk, it was, and the board, the Fairfield Glade Board, Fire Department Board. The other thing is that at the Budget Committee also approved $1 million appropriation, a release of funds from the ARPA funds. And I was against that. I was the only one on the Budget Committee against that because I hadn't seen any real results or heard any, except some places here that I've worked with here in Fairfield. However, I went and talked to Stanley. Normally, I don't know how much you know about the state appropriation, but it's really not enough to maintain roads here in the county. And it's about 50, and I can give you figures if you want, but it's about 50 maintenance-only roads. The county has authorized over the last 3 years about $4.9 million. Over the last 1 year, this year, we awarded another $2.9 million. And with that, I went and got the results, and I was really amazed. The road department has accomplished over 80 roads, both asphalt maintenance and chip and seal, and a significant number of those were in District 9 and District 6 here in Fairfield. So we are seeing activity. Now I know that I've heard, and I've been on the roads of the chip and seal, and we did get a new spreader, and there was a learning curve. So I do know that some of you I've worked with to redo those roads a couple of times and to sweep them. But we did have some significant progress here in Fairfield. And just so you know, when they started this year, there were 3271 work orders. And now they're down to 333 open work orders, which is a significant achievement just because they were short of staff. So the county did support them being able to plus up their staffing. The other thing that I didn't realize, but you know they do other things other than roads. They do mowing and they do culverts, they do bridges. And if you've been out in the county, you probably had to detour a lot for bridges. But the culverts, they had over 216 culverts this year that they had to repair across the county. So that's a significant amount of workload, and that money, some came from the American Rescue Plan that was released. So I did my mea culpas at the last commission meeting and approved that because there has been some significant changes. And I think that this next year, Highway Department, the state doesn't support them the way they need to, so the county really does have an interest in supporting them next year. So that's the Highway Department. I only have 6 pages. They said I could say it all. Then the other thing I want to bring out is some of you may or may not know, but at the last commission meeting there was a resolution about data centers. And there was a lot of misinformation. We heard for an hour public comment that the county was going to approve data centers. That is not true. If you pulled out the resolution, that was to put a moratorium, 2-year moratorium on data centers in the county. We have 2 data centers already, one in the county and one in the city, and that's more cryptocurrency. So there's a 2-year moratorium so that we can put together a group and evaluate what we should do. You know, the county does not have any zoning, and 2 years was the most we could probably legally get away with. We may not be able to even continue. The state may come down on us for prohibiting businesses. But, so we'll be rapidly putting together a group of people, some from, I'm quite sure, from the Water Authority, from VEC, from TVA, to evaluate, because there's a difference between big data centers and little data centers that businesses need to operate. And we need to look at that objectively and see what we need, how we need to proceed as a county. And so the last thing I really want to say is, I don't know if you know, but there is a lot of talk and a lot of discussion with the Water Authority, VEC, those kinds of things. And over the last, since I've been here, we have got more Fairfield Glade representation on those committees than we've ever had. We've got Phil Smith, who is on the VEC board. There's never been a Fairfield Glade representative on the VEC board ever. And this is his 2nd year to be on that board. We've got Greg Hansen, who's on the Water Authority board. He is not only on the board, he is also chair of the Water Authority board. And those 2 people bring information back to our past, current, future boards in that discussion of what's going on with those 2 very important boards. The other thing you may not realize, I think you do, is that John Wedgeworth is chair of the Planning Commission. So he also is very influential as it relates to the Planning Commission for the county. And then not to the Emergency Services Committee that's in the county, Chief Self and Chief McLaughlin both are sit on that committee as well and have input and interact with all the other first responders for that committee. So I did want to share that with you so that you know that we have made significant progress. The board, Fairfield Glade board, over the years has developed significant relationships with the county, and residents now are involved in county function, which is a significant improvement than, I don't know, some of you are old here, as I am, and than what we had maybe 10 years ago. So I'll be around for questions after this.
Are there any questions right now? Kathy?
And if you see me come up for coffee, don't look
Colleen, stay here.
Kathy has a question? Oh, I thought Kathy was going to come talk.
So you mentioned, I think you said ARPA, that the county had released.
American Rescue.
Could you explain to me and the audience what ARPA is and maybe why the county has released those funds now? Tell us a little bit about ARPA, what that means, and how the county has benefited from those funds over time. Thank you.
The American Rescue Plan funds were COVID related. So 3 years ago, we approved $2 million of those funds to go to the road department. Those funds were appropriated as needed. We had $1 million that we held back because we were waiting for a plan from the highway department. And that was one of the reasons why I didn't approve releasing those funds. And then I found out that we do have a plan and succeeded with that. So now those funds have been released to be used. And we should see some significant, well, I don't want to use the word significant, but there should be some activity in Fairfield and throughout the county over the next 30 to 45 days because of the release of those funds. So is that, where'd she go? I can't see it, but is that okay? It is all related to the COVID funding that went to counties. Okay, am I done?
All right.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else? All right. You can sit down. All right, you can do that too. We have another presentation on Druid Hills, what's going on there, and Jeff, Adam, Logan.
Bill, do you want to give the update on Druid Hills?
I can. That was part of my report.
That's what I thought. That was part of your deal.
We can address
Or
it
you
all
want to
right.
wait till we get done? Okay. Thank you, Jeff, and good morning, everyone. The update on Druid, the electricians anticipate having the main feed connected and turned on by the end of this month. HVAC ductwork is near completion, as well as the fire sprinkler system. Concrete has been poured at the main entrance to the lobby area from the front door. You may have noticed, if you've driven by the parking lot and site around the facility has entered the final grading phase for electrical, irrigation, and other utilities to be installed in the island areas out in the parking lot. The surveyors have pinpointed most of the islands, so the necessary electrical work and landscape work can commence. Paving will get underway as soon as utilities are in place. And with that, and part of what they'll be sharing is, as of June 29th, that entire facility will be under construction, whereas in the past we've used the lower parking area. That will no longer be available. There's going to be the fences all around the property, and that they'll begin working down in that lower construction area. And that's where they will exit out once the project is completed. So unfortunately, the viewing area coming up and all for the 4th of July is not possible this year from a safety and access point. And we've been sending out emails to that effect, so the community is aware. But the golf garage will remain open by appointment only during that time. And Jeff and Adam, and I think Logan might help. Just transporting you from the pool library parking lot up to there with a shuttle so that they can continue to provide their great services through the golf garage. Inside work at the clubhouse continues with final touches to drywall, trim work, painting, and flooring. The fireplace rock work is close to completion and looks great. The concrete work continues with the loading dock pouring. Then the awnings can be built and in place. The kitchen is coming together. The kitchen hoods are installed and connected. A lot of the other work is underway in the kitchen with multiple trades involved, so it is somewhat slow because they have to wait on one of them to finish their portion so that they can move in, but it's slow but steady. Mentioned the, one last thing real quick, exciting. On September 1st, we have a holding date in place. That's when actually the Druid Hills Golf Course will reopen. It's closed as of June 29th for the bunker renovation that'll be ongoing during this construction period. So it was good to get in there and take advantage of this while we have that opportunity. But the golf course will reopen September 1st, and all going well, no reason to see otherwise. We will also have the grand opening member reception on September 1st. So that'll be exciting. And then September 3rd, 2 days later, we are having the Cumberland County Chamber of Commerce will be doing the formal ribbon cutting with a business after hours immediately following, because we really want to share this facility is really a celebration for all of Cumberland County, and we want to encourage the business leaders, the folks in the surrounding community to know that we're here and they're welcome, and we want them to be a part of this facility and its use. So with regards to that, I believe that's all I have on Druid. I'll have some more later. So I'll turn it over now to Jeff.
Thank you, Bill. The board asked us to come this month and give everybody an update on how the golf garage is doing. So we have a slide presentation of about 80 slides, so we'll get out of here tomorrow sometime. But I want to introduce the two gentlemen that run the golf garage, Adam Forgy and Logan Stewart. Adam has been with us since 2014. He started as an assistant at Druid Hills, moved to Heatherhurst as assistant, was the head professional at Heatherhurst, and then I think 3 years ago started this program of being the manager of player development. Without Adam, this golf garage would not be possible. What he has done in club sales, fitting, and lessons with everybody is just extraordinary. And we'll go through some of the numbers and everything. Logan started at the golf garage last year. He's in his 5th year of Fairfield Glade. And Logan probably don't even know this. He's the only golf professional that's worked at every one of the clubs here. Started at Druid Hills and Dorchester at the same time, moved to Stonehenge and Heatherhurst, then moved up to the golf garage last year. So,
Jeff, does that mean he can't hold a job?
no, that means he's so good that we had to move him around. But Fairfield will be really lucky if these guys stay here as long as I have, basically 40 years. So I'll give this to Adam and let him go through this, and Logan and me.
Morning, everyone. So we're just going to give you an update on the golf garage, let you know a little bit about what it is in case you don't know. It's located up at Druid Hills on the driving range, and it's a multi-purpose indoor-outdoor teaching and training facility where we can give lessons. We give private lessons, club fittings. We fit for all the top manufacturers. So you don't have to drive to Knoxville or Nashville to get that kind of service anymore. We can let you try just about any club that are out there from the major manufacturers right here local in Fairfield Glade. We do a lot of clinics. We do some training courses in there so you can learn how to play in the simulator and practice. And then we have the indoor-outdoor bays have the multi-purpose part of it is because they can be the doors can be raised to hit outside, or a screen can come down, a retractable screen in the winter or on rainy days, and we can have you work indoors. And sometimes we find that there's services that can be provided indoors even in the summer to practice on that's a little bit better than maybe practicing outside on the driving range. So that's been a big part of what we do is just working in those bays every day. Some of the other services that we offer are full service grip and club repair. This has been something that has grown ever since I started here. I would always get requests for doing grips as an assistant. There was just nowhere to go in Crossville. You either had to do them on your own or drive a long way. So we offer full service club repair up there now in the club repair room, and you can stop by there anytime. Just drop your clubs off. The front desk will make you a ticket. We'll do the repairs for you and get them back to you as quick as possible. This is a little video of the golf garage there if you haven't been by or seen it. This is a drone footage there from the entrance. So that building will stay right there, and everything at that sidewalk you just seen will be demoed up to the building. So we'll be able to stay and work in there. That's a couple videos of the bays there. That's where the TrackMan sits, and it points out the window, so we can have people hit from that front piece of turf right there, or even go outside, and then if they look up on the screen, it's going to give them a down the line view and a face on view of their golf swing, and then also all the numbers that TrackMan can provide are put up on the screen, so we can go over those with the customer, or maybe they're just renting the bays to hit and they just want to see all of their data there while they're practicing. So we want to go over a little bit of the numbers, not too detailed, but over what we've done over the years, just to show some of the success we've had. So the first number there was club sales in 2014 was 219,000, and then last year we got to 300,000. So we had a 37% increase in that year, and then you can see there below is a breakdown of all the individual types of clubs that we sold. That shows the increase. And I ran an analysis back when I spoke to the board back in 2023 of the previous 10 years, and the average club sales over those 10 years was 79,000. So we were able to a little over triple the amount of clubs we sold in Fairfield Glade just by offering that service here and having somebody specialized in buying clubs. A lot of people were going to Nashville and Knoxville or just buying on the internet, are really just ignoring it and playing with their old clubs. So that has been a big part of what we do over there to help provide a better service to the community and make the building profitable. Between me and Logan, we've gave over 700 lessons in 2025. We've got a lot of junior involvement in golf, which was something that was important to us to help grow the game. A lot of the people that live in this community started playing golf when they were younger, and it was part of their lives. Not only are we helping people in town, but we had 19 students last year that come from surrounding counties that played on middle school or high school teams that come to give lessons. And those kids continue to tell their coaches and their other team players about that, and we just continue to see growth there. It's one of the big reasons why we had to bring Logan in, because we were running into a situation where the kids are in school and they want to have a lesson, and there was just not enough offerings for times for them to come. So with Logan over there, it allows us to have 2 options for them to come and take lessons. I know he's gotten a lot more juniors this year than he ever had before. And really importantly, to help Cumberland County, we got 14 of the students from town that are starting taking lessons. And we really feel like this number could double next year just because of the amount of growth we're seeing. Club fittings, this is hands-on personal club fittings that me or Logan provide. This is where someone has signed up through us that's telling us they want to have a club fit. Maybe it's just their driver and they want to see if the new drivers are any better than their old one. And so we did over 131 of those personally fit with customers last year. And we found that about 80% of people end up purchasing. So when you give someone a custom fit, that, like you're going to get a tux or something, you're there for that reason. You plan on leaving there with something because you're needing it. But the other 20% sometimes there is we find that maybe the customer's driver was only 3 or 4 years old and it works very good for him, and we just tell him that. Your driver's fine, this other one's only going 2 yards further. It may not be worth $700 to buy a new driver. So not everyone buys, but a lot of times there's a need there. And that has been a big increase of what we did. I probably did 5 club fittings in 2021 period, the whole year. So it was definitely the locals weren't getting fit for clubs in Fairfield Glade. Everybody was going somewhere else. So, and we heard a lot of those stories about people going to Nashville and Knoxville, some good and some not so good. So. We also provide services still through our big vendors and demo days. Our large demo day that we have every year in April, we try to have every company possible come to give you a free day where you can come for 4 hours and test out and try clubs and hang out. I was told that was probably one of the biggest demo days in the state of Tennessee by one of the manufacturers, because that's not something a lot of people do anymore. So we want to continue that if we see that it's profitable and it's worth it. So we do that every year, and it was a success this year. We had the construction going on at Druid, so it made it a little bit harder to navigate. But next year, hopefully, that property will be perfect for that. So we also do 15 individual vendor days. This is where we allow you to call and schedule an appointment with a fitter from the company. That's free of charge, and we try to get them to come here like twice a year to offer that as a service. Every once in a while, they have things that we may not have. If it's specialty, you left-handers know it's hard to find left-handed golf clubs in a certain type. We're able to have some left-handed clubs now, but sometimes it's not worth us to buy one driver when it may get used by one person all year. So that allows 15, 16 different opportunities throughout the year if you're in one of those niche areas that you can still come and get custom club fit directly from the company. And then a big part of the walk-in traffic that we have in the golf garage is people coming to try clubs. That number there on the far right is over 200, and it's probably close to 300 clubs that have been signed out from the golf garage to go out on the driving range with a bucket of balls and test it out. You may just want to know if any irons are better than what you've got, or some people are converting to hybrids because the long irons are getting hard to hit. They can't hit it far enough anymore or get it high enough. So we allow you just to come over for free, sign those out. We'll take a name and phone number. You can go out on the range, hit it, and bring it back to it. And that generates a ton of traffic through the golf garage, which can turn into lessons and club fittings, and just that makes people happy to get to be able to access and try a new club. It's kind of like going to drive a new car or something. You want to be able to test drive it and use it before you make that purchase. Those are some of the companies we offer down there at the bottom, mostly the big manufacturers. I'm going to let Logan and Jeff talk to you a little bit about our Get Golf Ready classes.
Good morning. Yeah, so our Get Golf Ready classes, what that is, it's a 5-week class. We teach these ladies mostly, and some men. Over the last couple of years, we teach them anything from how to check in for golf to how to drive the golf cart. So we go through putting and chipping and woods and irons, and the last class we get out on the course and we play. So it's been a lot of fun. We've seen 40 to 50 in the last couple of years, and we plan to have several more coming up.
I did a quick report of Logan giving me the students that he had over last year, and one of the hidden things on this Get Golf Ready, and what's really important to me, is that we grow the game of golf. So the golf garage is a place that you feel comfortable going to, talking to these guys about clubs, and also we grow the game with people that have never played golf before. And that $7,000 is what was spent by the students that had never played golf that got into the Get Golf Ready. So that's a hidden number that we're coming back to golf and coming back to the Glade from people that are just brand new to it and are afraid to play it, but want to take one of their classes. And by the end, as Logan said, they're out on the golf course, and then they may go on and play 30 rounds, and they may not play anymore, but at least we've introduced them to the game and made friends. And actually, we've got board members and a lot of graduates from Get Golf Ready.
A couple other things that I've tried to do, being at the golf garage now, is have some more clinics and more fun classes, more laid back. Some people like the cost. Brings down the cost a lot when you get 6 to 8 people in a group. So I've had some short game classes. The other thing is sometimes ultimately we're trying to shoot a better score in golf, so sometimes I can't really. It's easier for me to help you shoot a better score learning how to chip and putt than it is for me teaching you how to hit it a little straighter or further. So we've had this year, I've already had 6 short game classes. They fill up in 2 or 3 days, so that's nice. It's something I'm passionate about as well. And then this year also we were able to offer to our ladies 9-hole and 18-hole leagues a short game clinic, and we had over 50 ladies come out. We had to bring in some reinforcements. So we had 5 or 6 golf pros, and we did it over 3.5 hours, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that 18-hole ladies clinic, that was something that Jeff decided just to offer them just as a benefit to come and try out. And I think we got a lot of good feedback from that, and it was a good positive response. It was something to help the golf leagues and the community. Some of the things we're doing is when it got cold around here in years past, there wasn't a whole lot to do, but this has allowed us a new opportunity to continue golf throughout the season. Not everyone goes to Florida. A lot of people are still here and they want things to do. So we've continued our winter shootout pro series that we do in the summer on through the winter. And that allowed 42 extra players to come and play golf a couple times each month. And a lot of the times it was bad weather days where they probably wouldn't have been doing anything else. So we had 5 events And we charge for each one of those, but it's a small fee. It's a way to boost revenue, but also give us an opportunity to continue to play with the members and offer a service for people to use throughout the winter. Other things we tried to do last year is we had our first ever two-man scramble in the golf simulator. We were surprised that a lot of the signups weren't even from Fairfield Glade. A lot of people there was quite a few teams that came from Cookeville, and then a lot of teams that came in town. So it was just a two-man scramble. That way, if you hadn't played on the simulator a lot, or you wanted a partner to make it more fun, it was a little easier on you as opposed to playing your own ball. We had, I think, 24 teams was the max we could have because of the time slots, and I think we filled that up completely. Had a lot of fun. Unfortunately, the winners were Jeff and Cody, but that was all right. We'll have to make sure their handicaps are fixed for next year a little better. So I think it was Jeff and Cody, Houston. So we also provided. We started with offering 4 nights of the week for leagues who wanted to play. So we picked 4 nights of the weeks and kind of advertised that a little bit to friends and local leagues, and I was offering you to come after hours because the golf garage is open from 8 to 4 in the winter. We were going to have somebody staffed there and come after hours from 4 to 7 and allow someone to rent the bays for 3 hours to play their leagues. We ended up getting a league on 3 of those nights, Sunday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and they were playing basically every week there except Christmas and New Year's. So that was helping generate revenue there after hours and providing a service for something for people to do when it gets dark at 4 o'clock in the winter. So a lot of those people ended up being people that work during the day. They're getting off work at 3 or 4 o'clock, and they're not ever getting to play golf because they're working Monday through Friday. And they created 3 winter leagues throughout the year, and that was a huge success. We hope to maybe even bump that up 1 or 2 more nights this year if we see, the need for it. Something we're doing new just to kind of continue to improve and get better. I've signed up for a Titleist Performance Institute. This is it can be a 3-year course, but it's broke up into 1 to 2 years. This is a certificate through Titleist to help the person understand the body movements of the golf swing. So me and Logan understand the golf swing, understand the TrackMan and all the numbers, but this helps you to understand the body of the person and can they do the things we're asking them to do, which in a retirement community is very fitting because not everyone is 20 and can move. We're working with a lot of elements, knee surgeries, hip surgeries, shoulder rotate cup surgeries, just pure back pain and can't turn as good as you once could. So this is allowing me to help learn all of how the body works in the golf swing to be a better teacher going forward. And I'm just getting my toes wet into this, but it's already been helpful to me to understand when someone walks in and the machine says they're not making a full turn, I'm going straight to, hey, have you had any hip surgeries? Have you had any back surgeries? Tell me a little bit of medical history. So I know if I'm asking him to turn, can he even do that? Or am I asking him to do something that he can't do? And then it also helps with workarounds with doing that. Maybe it's a feet together so you can make a wider turn. Maybe it's flaring your foot open so you can take some pressure off that left knee. But this program is helping me understand that and to continue to get better at teaching. Hopefully after the winter, I'll be done with this program and we can kind of advertise that out into the community because they can go search online for where instructors are. And right now, there's no one near us that is certified in Titleist Performance Institute. So that means not only people in the community, but surrounding counties are going to look for that. They're going to see Fairfield Glade on the map, and they're going to come visit us at the golf garage. So. One thing we're excited about this year, and me and Logan are still getting better about, I know we're younger, but we're not in the social media crowd maybe as much as we should be. But we've made steps forward this year on, when we seen we were opening the golf garage, we took the opportunity to create a Facebook and an Instagram page for just the golf garage specifically so we could start advertising on there. And recently we had a couple of Instagram influencers come by. These are people that just travel around the world, and they're specified in golf, and they'll put out golf videos, and they end up getting a whole lot of followers, and it's a extremely good way to advertise, way better than maybe some of the other ways we were doing before. So we had a couple people come by, and the bottom one there, as you see with the blue check mark, he has over 100,000 followers. His name is Jake Diaz, and he come by the golf garage there in that picture. He was playing our courses in Fairfield Glade. Mary Jo had him come and play the courses, and he put videos online. But he come by the putting green one day in the golf garage and made a couple videos. I helped fit him to make sure his clubs were right. He had some questions about his putter, and I put him down on a laser line to see where his putter was aimed at address. And he made a little video about that and put it out. And it wasn't within a few days, I had like 3 people call me for a fitting, said, hey, I didn't even know this place existed. I live in Dayton, Tennessee. Can, I come and book a fitting? So I sent them a link to the online website, and that was a huge, huge benefit to us because that gentleman lived 50 minutes away, never heard of us, was planning on going to Chattanooga to buy clubs, and he ended up coming up to us. And it was all because of that social media page. So that's something we want to continue to get better at through the next year and just provide good advertisement to help put the golf garage on the map and then to bring more service and revenue to Fairfield Glade. All right, if Jeff probably has some other stuff for you.
Thank you, guys. I just want to finish on this note. The food truck closed at the start of June because of some staffing issues and everything, and we agreed to turn the golf garage into a mini snack bar for the month of June. So I want to thank these guys, and I also want to thank the Heatherhurst and Dorchester snack bars because they don't have a kitchen. So we provided all the sandwiches and stuff at the snack bars and came up, and these guys this month in the golf garage have sold over 1,000 beer, so 248 sandwiches, and made over $8,000 in food and beverage in the golf garage. And that's teamwork from the snack bars and from these guys providing the service because we're in the service business and in the customer satisfaction business. So I want to thank these 2 guys for all they do, and they got a good program, and I don't see it changing anytime soon. So thank y'all.
Thank you guys.
Well, don't leave, don't leave.
Greg,
Are there?
can I?
Is
if
there
I
any
may-
questions?
Before the questions, I just want to say, as general manager, I've been in this industry over 30 years, and I hope all of you appreciate the outstanding team of golf professionals that we have here at Fairfield Glade and in their respective teams that work with them. We are also blessed with very talented, hardworking golf course superintendents and their maintenance teams. They're out there year-round, working in elements, but providing outstanding playing conditions. I was so proud at the Senior Open, the amount of positive feedback we get from folks all over the state that come to play in that Senior Open and just said, this place is really special, and the event that you put on, we don't experience when we go to other places around the state to compete. And the course conditions this year, many of them have been coming for 10, 15, 20 years, and they couldn't say enough. So really proud. It carries over and reflects well for Fairfield Glade on so many levels, but also just to really acknowledge the hard work that our entire golf course operation does to provide the level of service and the program that they have. It's really, really first class. So thank you.
Is there any questions for me or for Adam or Logan?
Okay, before you leave, please come up here so everybody can hear you.
I just wanted to say I had a lesson with Logan at the garage last year or a year and a half ago, I don't know. But it was so wonderful, and I would love for everybody to take advantage of that because you can actually see yourself swing. Sometimes that's not so good, but it's a great learning experience. So they do a great job over there.
Thank you, Trish.
Thank you.
Before you guys leave, from a board standpoint, I know when we started this whole journey down over at Druid, when we first put in the quarry and we put in the golf garage, I know, Jeff, we worked a lot on that business case, and you kept telling me that if you build it, they will come. And we didn't really expect to even have Cody in that position for at least another year or so.
Logan.
Logan. But the fact is that we've exceeded the expectations of that business case in year one. And it's due to a lot of the work that you've heard so much about. And that is a true success story. And one other thing that we didn't talk about, if you just want to drive over there sometime and watch the people that are getting on the quarry and how many people are going there on a daily basis. And I always stop and try to talk to them a little bit just to see why they're there. And what we're getting is a lot of people who maybe have aged out of championship golf, but still want to come and get out on the course, and they're coming there on Saturdays and Sundays. They've actually formed neighborhood leagues in some cases, and we've actually rented out a couple things for profit for us. But that whole area, and when that clubhouse gets finished, I think it's going to even explode even more. And you know, that's why we built that the garage, with the opportunity of maybe adding 2 more bays if we needed them. And I can see in the future where that might be a real possibility. So congratulations on all you do. And Jeff, would you like to just go over the facilities over there in June and July, what will be open and what won't? We heard about the golf course.
So Druid Hill's last day open will be Sunday, so it'll be closed Monday. So the golf garage, as Bill said, is going to be open by appointment only, because we don't know there should be no parking over there, and we don't want people going through a construction site to walk up to get to the quarry. So the golf garage is, as of right now, is going to be the only thing opened for July and August. The quarry is what it is. I don't think I'm going to be standing over there keeping people coming out from the condos and stuff at nighttime, but we're not going to let anybody come into the Druid Hills property to use the quarry or the driving range.
Thank you. Okay, again, thanks a lot, guys. Great presentation. Appreciate it. Okay. President's report. Kathy, you want to come up and give the election report first?
Good morning. How are you doing today? Oh, there we go. Got a couple smiles. I'm the chair of the election committee. My name is Kathy Tipton. And the committee is pleased to be able to oversee this year's election for one at-large director position. The election is underway with a slate of 4 candidates. We have Bruce Evans, Gary Crevo, Ted Landers, and Andy Worrell. The at-large director is elected to 3-year terms by the entire voting membership of the Fairfield Glade Community Club. Our election covers 4 areas. First, we have the election period, which ended noon Wednesday, June 3rd. The application of each candidate, which provides a brief profile including biographical details and contact information, may be viewed by logging on to fairfieldglade.com and clicking on the 2026 Board of Directors election link. I encourage everyone to do that. Second is the time for members to learn about the candidates. We'd like to thank everyone who attended the Meet the Candidates Forum in person on Monday, June 22nd, and who viewed the video online. The committee and the candidates appreciate it. The election committee is preparing to publish the week of July 6 and July 13 in the newspapers, on the club election website, and via e-blast the candidates' answers to 8 committee-developed questions that we believe will broaden the community's knowledge of the candidates. On Thursday, July 30th at the center, Members may join the candidates in what we're calling a speed dating format. Information will be coming out in the next few weeks about that event. We think you'll find it interesting. Third, voting matters. Your vote matters. Voting begins on Monday, August 10th. Members with a verified email address on file with member records will receive an electronic ballot in their email on Monday, August 10th. Be sure to check your spam folder. Confirm your contact information in your member profile to ensure that member records has your correct email address. Members who do not have a verified email address on file with member records will receive a paper ballot in the U.S. mail. Remember, paper ballots are mailed from our election partner in Minnesota, and mailed paper ballots may take up to 5 days to arrive. If you haven't received your paper ballot by Friday, August 14th, contact the administration office and ask for member records who can help you obtaining a replacement ballot if necessary. The committee encourages all members to ensure their account is in good standing to be eligible to vote. Any account balance greater than zero as of Tuesday, June 30th, will result in a status of not in good standing. If you have any questions about your account balance, please contact the Accounts Receivable Department at 931-484-3780. Last, the annual meeting. Results of the election will be announced at the annual meeting here at the center on Friday, September 19th. Again, if you have not already done so, you can find election information on the club website by logging on to fairfieldglade.com. Scroll to latest news, then click on the 2026 Board of Directors election link. In addition to the candidate information already mentioned, this site includes information about voter eligibility, how to confirm your contact information, your ballot options, communications that have been sent by the committee, and general voter information. Thank you.
Kathy, I just wanted to correct that it is 2 member-at-large candidates that will be elected.
That is correct. I apologize. I didn't catch that. Thank you. Thank you. 2 at-large members.
Are there any other questions for Kathy?
As you can see, we don't always, we make little mistakes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Any questions?
Come on up, Tom.
Tom?
Kathy, quickly, I'd like to thank the committee, the way Meet the Candidates meeting was handled with the open questions. I know it's refinement, work in progress, but thank you for that. My question is, maybe is it possible that you could work with Bill Ward to get our upcoming events calendar, to have the key information listed like those meetings, so that somebody looking at that calendar kind of knows what's happening? It's supposed to be, I don't understand, maybe.
That's an excellent suggestion. Thank you.
Any other questions for Kathy? I just want to say on behalf of the board, there's only 2 committees that are called out in the CNRs and bylaws. And those are the ACC, which most of you are aware of. The other one is the election committee. And it's purposely called out because the board, I'm the liaison to that committee, but it's really the representatives on the election committee that run the elections. And that's not a small news item, and it's a lot of work. And these people put in a lot of hours to get where we are. And I think it's really important that the community club recognizes the fact of the amount of time that this is in, how much detail goes into it. You know, things like writing questions, getting everything organized. They have a whole calendar of things that need to be done. And their work really starts in about March and ends in about October when we do what we call a postmortem of how the election went and what learnings we can take from that. And this committee has really worked their rear ends off, and we really do appreciate it.
And making sure that I say 2 instead of 1. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, a couple things on the President's report. You already heard the update on the election. We'll carry some of those dates and that type of thing out into the actual across the board. Wanted to talk a little bit about the response to the focus groups, because we really haven't given an update on that for quite a while, but there have been some things that have been being done with those focus group things. For instance, working with operations, the new member orientation has been reinstituted, and that has been a very successful program. Bill, I don't even remember how many you told me that went to the last one.
It's 46.
Yeah, so that's a pretty good number for the people, and we're going to continue to do that, and it's an important thing because it really shows the community how to interact with the club, how we are organized, how we govern, what the different amenities are, and that type of thing. So that's been a real success story. Also, we have, and you've heard this now for the last several months, we instituted a way of trying to track questions, and we've formalized that, and probably more time than what you would know is spent getting those answers to those questions. And Shannon Turner has been the person that's done a lot of that organizing and coordinating, and it's been a labor of love. She's smiling, that's good. So, but we really do appreciate everything she's done, and we appreciate the fact that we're getting more of your questions and trying to respond to them. We also working with operations, and when I say working with operations, it's really more approvals of things. The operations have carried a lot of the load here. We now have a preferred dining program, which I'm sure you're going to talk a little bit about at some point, but it's been a real success story. As a matter of fact, I know from talking to Bill, when he told me what his expectations were for that program, we have far exceeded that. So it's really been a good thing for us, and it's gotten a lot of people into our food and beverage facilities. You'll see today that there was going to be posted later on, we'll talk a little bit about it, a new confidentiality agreement. So we've listened to people. The PRC presented to the board yesterday. We talked about that, and we're making progress on it. And we will be looking at ways to improve this meeting. And what I mean by that is we're going to get ourselves a little bit better organized on how we go through the agenda. We'll be talking to all of you about that, probably even, it could be as early as July. So we're going to be talking about some of those things. It's not going to be, our intention is not to restrict conversation or anything like that. Our intention is to get through the agenda. I think, as we've been pointed out by several people, you know, this is a board meeting in public. It's not a public meeting for the board. And in that influence is a big deal, because what we have to do is get through the board's business. That's what this meeting's about. So I want to let people know that. I want to talk a little bit about surveys, and I'll use the dark skies as a example. We are listening to what you have to say about the dark skies. We are talking about that. But surveys are not votes. And I want to be clear about that. Surveys are data gathering tools that people like the board, even SMTs, can use to get better ideas of what your opinions are, ideas about what you think should be happening, but they will not be votes, nor are they mandates. That's up for whoever the party is that doing the survey and working on the issue. They need to sort through all of that kind of stuff and then come back with recommendations that take into account not only the surveys, but what they're hearing from others in all that conversation. So I want to make sure everyone knows that the expectation about that. If a survey is going to be used, it's not going to be a vote. A couple other things, and some of this fell into our lap just because of the dates that we had. There was an e-blast that went out yesterday with July 7th. That's a big date. We're going to have VEC, who will be here, and the president of VEC, the general manager of the Crossville office, and our own Phil Smith, who's on the board of VEC, will be here. We'll also have the Cumberland Plateau Water Authority here, and the chairperson of that, Greg Hansen, who's one of our own members, and the general manager for the Water Authority will be here. And Mayor Foster will be here, and we're going to ask him to moderate that, so that as we talk more and more about it, and that we actually have had this in the works for almost 3 months. It's just been a hard thing to get everybody's schedules aligned and even finding room in the center to have it. But July 7th from 2 to 4, those people will be here, and they'll be talking about where we are with water, where we are with energy, and probably some other things like data centers and artificial intelligence and that type of thing as well. So if you're interested in those topics, please come, because you'll have the people that can answer some of those questions, all right? I want to also talk a little bit about, and this is probably more me than it is the whole board, because we really didn't discuss it as a whole board, but I'm going to go ahead and bring it up. I think people don't really understand or appreciate the things that people see and how they react to our marketing, not just our marketing, but the whole community club's marketing and that type of thing. You know, there was a sign that went up a couple months ago when the Attorney General's inquiry, it's not an investigation, it's an inquiry. That just means they're getting information. That went up, and it caused issues. I heard from people all the way from Texas, and so did others all over the place, saying, what's going on there? Why would I want to move there? What are you guys doing over there? And I hear a lot of chatter about how many homes are on the market and they're not selling. Talk to your realtors and see if those things are helpful. There are another sign, and Nico, I'm going to call you out on this. Nico CGR put up 3 signs that are on that big billboard as you go out of Fairfield Glade, down by Food City. These are public things. We have people coming in here almost every week looking at this community as a place they might want to move. They don't have a context for anything they see on things like billboards and that. We got a lot of conversation. The election committee got a lot of it last year when people were posting things. And I'm not taking it personally from the standpoint of what they say about the board, but these messages can hurt your property values. And if you don't believe that, just talk to some realtors and people like that that are looking at that thing. I'm not saying that you don't have a right to put them up. I'm not saying that I'm trying to control your speech. I'm not saying any of those things. But as a property owner here, I'm concerned about my property values. And I think everyone sitting in this audience and those of you that are tuned in should feel the same way. These things do not help. And if you think they do, like I said, talk to board members, talk to SMTs, talk to realtors, talk to people that are trying to sell their homes. These things are not helpful. And I just really want to point out that just think before you do, because all of us participate in the results of whatever you do, okay? That's the across the board update, so thank you for that. We now will have the treasurer's report.
Before I get started, am I loud enough? I'm going to answer Tom's question on why we do a financial audit. It independently verifies our financial records.
Closer, please.
Okay, sorry. We do an audit to independently verify our financial records, that they're accurate, materially correct, and compliant with regulations. It helps us to build trust with investors, lenders, regulators. It helps us meet legal and regulatory requirements. It detects errors and potential fraud, evaluates our internal controls and processes, supports financing and investment decisions, and improves financial management. With the financial management, it can reveal accounting issues, compliance gaps, and opportunities to improve our financial practices. On your other question, Tom, and I wrote notes. If you go to page 15 of the audit, on paragraph 3, yes, that paragraph is referring to the reserve study. And on page 18, the developer land contribution, That was the land valuation for the land that was transferred from Wyndham Resorts Incorporated that should have been transferred back in 1997. So again, we're settling up a lot of those accounts, and Wyndham is transferring property that should have been transferred when the community club stood up.
Is a large part of that common area?
Yeah, it's all common area. I'm sorry. Okay, now the treasurer's report. Our community continues to maintain an exceptionally stable capital foundation with healthy cash assets and reserves. Year-to-date combined operational performance is running strongly ahead of our consolidated budget targets. POA and amenities combined, the net operational positioning stands at a deficit of only $116,630 against a budgeted deficit of $1,125,009. This represents a highly favorable budget variance of $1,008,379. Of that variance, $345,000 is due to assessments received from the timeshare HOAs, leaving a balance of $663,379. The membership is reminded that this will be the first year of contribution to the current 10-year capital funding plan. That amount for 2026 is $600,000. In summary, subtracting the HOA assessments, and remember the board's going to determine how those funds will be applied, and it depends on if and when bankruptcy occurs, and the 10-year capital funding plan contribution, POA and amenities net is favorable by $63,379, which is in the $100,000 plus minus margin of the budget's projected net zero balance. Sewer operations, while revenues were unfavorable by $15,000 due to fewer sewer taps, sewer operations brought in a net surplus of $128,046 against a budgeted target of $110,714, finishing $17,331 favorable to the budget for the month. Total community cash and fund allocations. Capital funds, the operating reserve funds is $6.5 million, and that's the operating reserve, the capital reserve fund, and the reserve R&M all combined. Combined capital improvement and reserve funds is $4.1 million. Debt service reserve is $1.5 million. Operations funds, POA and amenities operations cash is $2.6 million. Sewer operations and capital funds, the cash balance is $4.8 million. Operational performance and key drivers, the POA divisions generated a combined subtotal net surplus of $987,789, beating the budgeted projection of $243,779 by $744,010. Administration finished $536,904 favorable to the budget, driven by the unbudgeted timeshare assessment revenue. Community maintenance finished $341,589 favorable, primarily due to delayed timing on repairs, maintenance, and sand salt materials. Public safety deficits, the police department experienced a monthly deficit of $30,730 against a budgeted deficit of $170,337 due to overtime expenses from beginning of the year, for which they are awaiting reimbursement from a grant, and understaffing coverage, rising fuel and insurance cost, and unbudgeted leased interest expenses, and that's an amortization timing issue. The fire department had an overage of $2,657 in monthly repairs and maintenance against a budgeted amount of $2,060 for termite treatment at the Malvern station. The amenities portfolio Golf continues to serve as our primary economic engine, finishing $368,586 favorable to budget. Higher than anticipated golf package revenues beat projections by $88,000. Food and beverage challenges. The F&B division remains our most complex challenge, running $141,715 unfavorable to the budget. Year-to-date revenue is down 27% due to lower member traffic following the closing of the Wyndham timeshare units, while labor remains elevated from training costs and overtime. Compared to 2025 year-to-date, F&B performance has a greater deficit of $77,466. This can be attributed to the first 2 months of the year under BJL control. The deficit is actually accruing at a lesser pace than in 2025. Members are reminded that the operations will be presenting an F&B Financial Performance Forum on Tuesday, June 30th at 2 p.m. in the center. This will be a great opportunity to attend and ask questions. The Center and Recreation finished 52,879 favorable due to surging facility rental demands. Recreation was 15,381 unfavorable due to early weather closures, though outdoor rentals are beginning to trend upward. And that is my report for this month. Thank you.
Okay. Bill, General Manager's report.
Thank you again, and just to pick up on the major capital project updates, we spoke about Druid, obviously, and with regards to the emergency services complex, the truss work is, I believe, completed, or it's nearing completed. After, with a few, the truss company had a few hiccups on them. It doesn't affect us in our budget, but they corrected it in their measurement. We have completed the required storm shelter fallout building that was is now a new code mandate in Cumberland County. So that has been installed. Some of the sheeting has been installed and is ready to dry in. The building siding is being measured and selected. That's the exterior siding. The site utilities commenced Monday being installed. Electricians and plumbers have their equipment ready to start installation as soon as the building is dried in. That's about the state of it. We're still on a little bit behind schedule, but this general contractor, Stubbs Construction, is confident that they will make up that time in the coming months. It's certainly not as complex a building as Druid Hills, and their estimated completion by year end. We still remain on budget, so all good news there. We do have a slide presentation for the Druid project as well as the emergency services building. So if we could share a few of those slides for the audience, please. As you can see, this is the entrance area into Druid. That is the backdrop area outside the pro shop receiving area. This is from the veranda. That's the outdoor fireplace. As you can see, the interiors are coming together as finishes are being put in. Trim work commencing. You can see the rock work on the fireplace. It's a beautiful feature. That's a see-through fireplace, so as you enter the building, you'll immediately be addressing the fireplace. You can see the bar area taking shape. 50-yard line of seating available. There'll be a lounge area, or I should say a seating area on the interior side of the fireplace as well. Interiors of golf shop, golf offices. Considerable progress has been made even since this video was put together. Carpeting is being laid. A lot more of the interiors are starting to take shape, and we look forward in July and August to really giving you a more complete video update of the status of the interior in the building. So it's quite exciting. We anticipate being able to start transitioning into the building August 1st, thereabouts. It's very important, particularly for the food and beverage team to get acclimated, to get into cleaning the kitchen, post-construction takeover, starting to get familiar with their equipment, layout, and the like. And we'll be doing some soft opening drills where we'll have special meal periods. A lot of our board, volunteers, others in the community to be invited to come and participate in some of these soft opening meal periods to give feedback and kind of get excited and experience it. And again, September 1st is our holding place for the grand opening with the membership. So it's exciting. We look forward to that date being available to us and ready to go. Here we have the emergency services complex. Not a lot more to offer right now. You can see some of this is going around the back of the building. Some of the bays that will the equipment will be occupying is on the other side of the front. But okay, so thank you for the work, and Shannon, that you've done on that, and others, IT team, I appreciate it. MK already shared with you the reminder about the food and beverage financial forum. It will be focusing on the financial aspects, give some education about how some of those numbers are determined, what are some of the key performance indicators that we monitor as we move forward. But again, right now, as we sit and as we move forward, it's really a revenue issue. We need your support. We invite you out. Please come and support. In regards to the questions about, Tom asked about, and I believe Ted as well, quick update on the preferred dining members. As of the end of May 31st, there were 293 participants in the preferred dining program. As we sit right now in live real time, we're at 396. But as reflected in the financials for the end of May, it was 293. That $100 charge to become a member is recorded in food and beverage sales. That number totals $42,497 as of the end of May. The total amount of discounts issued since the program started is $8,499. With regards to Stonehenge, after Druid opens, Stonehenge will continue to operate as a snack bar lunch facility. So we will have a new menu, more of a limited menu once Druid opens, but that will be available and have, for not only the golfers, but if you do want to come in there and sit down and have lunch, you can. And that will continue until Stonehenge closes for the season, the golf course, which now is the end of November. They're extending that period somewhat over previous years, but that will be in operation as a lunch snack bar facility per this year's budget. That is what was budgeted with the current budget for this fiscal year, largely due to the Wyndham announcement last year and when we had to make adjustments and where we are. A lot of people are getting somewhat nostalgic about Stonehenge and wanting it to remain open. All things are possible with member support. We have never shown historically, the revenue to support two operations, fully operations inside Fairfield Glade. So to do that would be obviously a decision by the board and others as to whether or not that is a appropriate move financially. It is, as we say over and over, it is an amenity. It is here to support the operation, to serve not only our members, but our guests, our golf packages and the like, but we are excited about the opening, and the focus is really on getting Druid open. But Stonehenge will be available once Druid does open for programs that will, or opportunities that will generate a positive return on our margins. So if we have interest in booking that facility for private events, we will have pricing and options available as to what that, it's be more of a banquet type operation. So we also have ideas of offering food trays during the holidays or any time if you want to order special food trays, perhaps if you're entertaining in your house and having guests over and you want that convenience, that will be available. We also look forward to some special evenings of perhaps a little more upscale gourmet evening, particular nights during the months of in the fall, as well as holiday dining opportunities. But really, a lot of our transition now will be to Druid. We look forward to, for instance, Thanksgiving, having opportunity to dine there rather than coming here to the center. Likewise, over the holidays, celebrations. No decision has been made yet by the board, but I really encourage that we look at opportunities in which we would make that facility available for large groups that want just certain I'm talking about Druid now, certain times, X amount of dates a year, say, we'll do 6 times, 10 times, whatever, where if we have organizations that are willing to pay for that facility, we can capture that revenue and provide that opportunity, and particularly as we look broader into the Cumberland County area, Crossville, folks that want to come and have business leaders or organizations. It's a positive return for the club. We can look at what our average member dining experience is like, say on a Friday or Saturday night. What type of revenue do we generate for our members, from our members? And we can then start to set minimum requirements in order for an outside group to come in. They have to meet a certain food and beverage minimum sales in order for us to give the building to them. And then we could use Stonehenge as an alternative for members to dine with special menu we would create so that we are capitalizing and making our facility available to maximize revenue and income. So these are all of the things that we're looking at as we are focusing on the 2027 budget, time flies, for next year. Any other questions?
We'll take questions at the end.
I'm available if you need me.
I do, since Bill did bring up the Wyndham thing, I do want to announce no new news. They have not filed for bankruptcy yet. They're still continuing to pay their assessments, but there's nothing happening that we know of at this point, and we do check. Okay? Thank you. Harry.
Good morning, everyone. I'm going to read you the Architectural Control and Property Standards Report for this month. Miscellaneous approvals and changes to existing homes through May 2026 was 760 compared to last year, 746. New homes approved through May this year was 43. At the same time last year was 48. New homes completed, including manufactured homes this year, through May was 39. Same time frame last year was 48. Property standards violations closed through May of this year was 195 compared to 137 of May of last year. Any questions? Thank you.
Okay. Declarants report.
Okay. Last week, we announced a new 300-lot development area south of Peavine Road. This will be a multi-year phased development similar to the approach we take with our neighborhoods in the north. The lots are already platted, so they average about 1/3 of an acre in size and will be developed with custom homes. We anticipate breaking ground on the first phase of infrastructure development this fall, and the pace of the development will be driven by lot absorption. So as a community, we have been averaging around 120 new homes per year. That being said, we will carefully manage the development to make sure we maintain a healthy balance in the market and avoid oversupply of lots. In the north, for a while, our phase 1 of Maple Ridge has been completed. To date, 4 lots have been built on, 2 are under construction, and 4 are sold and awaiting to be built on, which means there's 32 lots available that we will continue to market and sell before we begin phase 2 of that development. In Chestnut Ridge, only 2 of the 60 developed lots remain to be sold. And to answer Tom's question, right now we've obtained about 114 lots from private lot owners or Wyndham. And I would just note that we don't own all 300 lots in that area. It just is an area where we were able to buy majority of those lots to find an area to develop and sell. Thank you.
We have asked the declarant to come in next month at our board meeting to make a little presentation about what's going on down there. I want to be real clear, the board doesn't know a whole lot more than what you saw in the announcements. That was the declarant's announcement. It wasn't the board's announcement. And even though we've worked a little bit with the declarant in terms of selling lots, mainly our lots, and also helping with the county lots, we have not been involved with all the details. Now, we need to get involved with them because we got a little sewer that we got to put in, but we'll be meeting with the declarant here in the near future to try to get at that and understand the plan. So at this point, and this is truly the developer side of what the declarant does. So we're not going to have a whole lot of detail about what goes on down there. That's really the declarant, not us. We'll be able to talk about sewer, but that's about all we're going to be able to talk about, okay? So, there is no old business, so we move to news of business. Audit.
Okay. The firm of Coulter and Justice of Knoxville has conducted the FGCC annual financial audit since 2021. They have been thorough in their audits and available to us throughout the year for consultation. I therefore move that the Fairfield Glade Community Club retain the firm of Coulter and Justice to conduct the 2026 financial audit.
Is there a second?
I second.
Any discussion on the board?
What dollar amount?
Do you have that, MK?
No, I don't.
J-
The total cost for the audit last year was $40,000. The total cost for the 26 audit will be $41,300.
Okay.
Thank you.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Scott?
So we have today one of the hardest working committees in Fairfield Glade, our Trails Committee. They came to us last month with a proposal on a new trail. Those of you that are not familiar with our Trails Committee, the amount of work that they do on a weekly basis, Wednesdays and Saturdays, I believe, to build and maintain the trails that we all get an opportunity to enjoy is fantastic. And I appreciate all the work that everybody on the committee puts in. So with that, I will introduce John Vinnick to make a presentation to talk about the proposed new trail the committee is recommending.
Thank you. Thank you, Scott. The committee wants to really recognize the community club for all their support for all the years. I mean, you have been instrumental in keeping us together and keeping us well-funded. So we appreciate that support. It's critical for us, absolutely critical for us. There's a short presentation there if you want to look at it. Can I see a sign or a show of hands? I'm sorry, there's a clicker there. Great, thank you. Thank you. Yes, please. I think we have some hikers in the room. Can you raise your hand if you're a hiker? Okay. I think I brought a good portion of our crew with us today to see this. So people in the orange shirts back here in the side, there's one in the green shirt, one slacker in a green shirt that is on our crew too. Slacker.
You should have them stand.
Yeah, would you stand, please?
Yes, please. Please stand.
This group of volunteers puts in roughly 5,000 hours of volunteer work here in the Glade. They're all your neighbors. You go to church with them, you drink coffee with them, you have lunch with them, and some of you even play golf with them. So they do a fantastic job. I am the current trail boss looking to offload that responsibility. It's a volunteer position, so when I get somebody stupid enough to take it, I'll gladly hand it over. Hint, hint. Let's see. I think I turned it. Which button do I push? The one on the right. There we go. So that is a portion of our crew, and you saw a bunch of them there. But again, it's the people that live in this community that do the work. We are chartered to only work in Fairfield Glade. The Friends of the Trails is a great operation. We coordinate with them. We are totally different from them. We coordinate from them. We have part of the marathon here. That's probably the most common question we get is how are we attached to Friends of the Trail? And we are really not. We just coordinate with them. We help them out where we can. So we're basically working here in the Glade, and we are really trying hard to bring in additional hikers from other areas. This year is kind of unusual for us because we're actually proposing to work on property owned by Fairfield Glade. We've always built on either Anderson property or Wyndham property. So it's unusual for us.
And I wanted to just add, we get a picture like that every week from you guys. So there's a group of that size getting out there every week working on the trails. So it's unbelievable.
Surprisingly, we work, but we have a lot of fun. You know, I can say we try to keep it fun, try to keep it light. We take a lot of breaks. You know, we represent the community, so we're a bunch of old farts. So is what I tell everybody. Some of us are younger than others. Some are much older than me. But we have a lot of fun. So anybody who wants to come out and volunteer, we provide tools, we train, we provide a little bit of social fun, no obligation, nothing. So like I said, we have 60 members. We have 30 people signed up to, and yes, we over communicate. We definitely over communicate. Things we wanted to talk through, and I guess I need to put my glasses on. I can't read that. That doesn't help either. But from memory, you know, it's the fact that we've been doing a huge amount of work here in the Glade. This year we've got actually 60 members now. We grow all the time. 5,000 hours annual benefit to the Glade, well, worth over $110,000 in labor. Some people tell me I'm modest, I should be taking that up higher. But it's a very unique situation to have that many volunteers and that many hours. I think the Appalachian Trail is about the only thing in this area that would compare to it. Cumberland Trail is pretty much all paid construction at this point, almost no volunteers. So us working out there, building as many trails, probably more trails than the Cumberland Trail does, were pretty remarkable. So again, we got to congratulate the troop. We did, this year we had our own trail building class. That was kind of self-fulfilling for me because that means I don't have to do as much supervision out on the trail. And I think we did bring in most of the people that are volunteering in Crossville and out at the state park. So we'll probably repeat that again. It didn't hurt too much to do it this year, and we'll probably do it again. Whoops. So when I thank the board, we get money from the board every quarter for our operating expenses. That's tools, that's equipment we need. It's wasp spray, it's all kinds of things, chainsaw gas, everything we need to keep the trails functioning. We also get capital from the committee to help us with the most extreme work. You know, we're good, but we don't really cut down big trees, we don't build parking lots. We try not to be in the most physical areas. Some of the rocks that we have to move are really big. So we save the most extensive work for a contractor. We supervise them closely. We do competitive bidding, but we minimize our costs tremendously with them. But again, we get a lot of support from the community club. So our schedule and what we're working on, and most of you will know that we're pretty much finished with reworking McGinnis Trail, which is up in the north. It's a very scenic area, and it's probably one of our oldest trails that was really following an old logging road. So it wasn't really built to trail standards. So yes, trail people get very fussy on what's good and what's bad, but we are doing a lot of work up there, and we'll finish it up before the marathon this year. But our contractor's almost finished. We are heavily working right now on White Oak Trail. We have had a soft opening on that in last couple weeks ago. And we do some work for the marathon. And again, we help the marathon, we assist the marathon, but it's not our program. It's John Conrad's and Friends of the Trails. And I think they're looking for a new owner for the marathon. It's not us. Right? Okay. So our expense spending requests, and we do this, like the board does, we do our own 5-year planning. And our commitments from revenues, we get money from private donations, we get money from the Glade, we get money for some sales, but typically we spend more money than we receive, you know. So our volunteers make up the difference. They reach in their own pocket and they buy a lot of their own things. So we've asked for more additional funds this year. We get a little bit of money from Friends of the Trails. They help us. About the only coordination we get from Friends of the Trails is they have a 501c3, and so we can use their tax shelter basically so we don't have to do all the government reporting and tax and everything else that we have as an enterprise. Additional spending, we're asking for more money, but of course that budget process has been submitted and it's out there until a budget is formalized. So here's our unique opportunity that we haven't had before. Trail Branch, and we are guilty of naming trails after the creek, after the water flow that's there. So Trail Branch is really downstream of Glastonbury Lake. And we've never had there's a beautiful waterfall right below Glastonbury Dam. And that's our target for 27, and that's this request. This property was, quitclaim a quit claim deed from Wyndham 2 years ago, so it's owned by the community club. It's in that deep ravine that you see when you drive down Westchester, and you see a deep ravine down there. Well, there's a waterfall in there. When Glastonbury is overflowing, that waterfall is very spectacular. Very difficult to get to, okay? I know we've been down there several times. But it's a great place for us to get to, and right today, we're seeking approval from the board, from the community club board, that to build on their property. Now, we're not actually going to put concrete in the ground, we're just going to score the earth and make a good access trail for people to go down and show their neighbors. The naturalists in this room or in the community will love it because it has very remarkable features because it is so deep. It's not quite a rainforest, but it's very mossy, rock-covered gardens. It's quite remarkable down there. And it does border the Cumberland Mountain State Park also. It's really a 2-year project, and we've kind of budgeted it out. We've walked it 3 or 4 times. We got some photos here, but we have some great opportunities to build on it. There are some slides of what you're going to see down there. In the center section is part of the waterfall. The maps, and this is kind of over detail oriented, but we can get about 3 miles of very unusual trails on that piece of property. Most of it, about half of it will be built by hand, and the other half will be heavy excavated by an excavator. And that's a really small machine, 30, 32 inches wide. So we don't make much of a scar when we go through, but we do give public access. Very few people in this room could actually make that hike without a trail. It is very, very rugged. How do I play the videos? Oh, there it goes. So that's what you get for a waterfall when Lake Glastonbury is overflowing. So it's quite remarkable, and there's a cascade down below it. And then, of course, the waterways on either side are pretty spectacular. Yes, during a drought, the Glastonbury is not overflowing, so it would be just dead. But the rest of the year, it would be very scenic. Great place to take people to. It's all on Fairfield Glade property, so we don't have any encroachment issues with anything we've laid out. I guess I got them both flowing this time. So, and I think Don Hazel tells me this story that was one of the first places that they were thinking about building a trail was on this piece of property. And by the terrain and the location, it was probably the most difficult to build. With our volunteer crew being much larger now, and our skills and knowledge on how to use contractors, we feel very confident that we can get down to that, providing good access to that waterfall and have a very nice trail. So right now we're calling it Trail Branch Trail, which is kind of obnoxious. It'll probably have some sort of a falls title on it, maybe Glastonbury Falls, I don't know, but we'll let the crew, if you want to name the trail, you have to join the crew. The crew gets the opportunity to name trails. So let me see if I can get past this. In the capital plan, I'm going to go through this really quick because there's some drawings in here. We try to level out our spending, and again, we get that money from the board, and it has to go through an approval process and has to go through a budget process. We've been very successful, though, in identifying and developing a contractor that's very good at this work. He works all over the southeast. Gratefully, he enjoys working in our terrain and with our volunteers. I think we teach him as much as he teaches us. So we're very lucky. I know that same contractor is used in Crossville, and I think he's pretty much, I think he's been used in 20 of the state parks. So we've got some good people. So spending gets kind of redundant because it's every year out there. Present day, we've just opened the red trail down there, which is a white oak trail. It gives you a mile and a half, and it does connect to the Cumberland Trail if you ever want to hike that. So from that white oak parking lot, you can hike out to Peavine, or you can hike back to the overlook. So we're connected there in red. The crew by hand is building the dotted red right now. And we've got about a mile that we're doing by hand. The black, we're waiting on the decision from Wyndham as to what happens with that property. Right now, we're only building on about 10 acres of that 250-acre parcel. So when people ask, can you build anyplace else? Yes, we've got another 200 acres to build on right there. So you can get lost on the other side of that black line. Like I said, 200 acres over there. Very challenging country. The nice thing about white oak, and it's actually, so if it were raining right now, the water would actually go down White Oak Creek. So that scenery down in there is very unique, and those are pictures that are taken in the winter. But there are some very nice glades where it's huge boulders, giant hemlock trees just lining the banks, and it's very pretty. So when we finish that, that'll be again a very nice trail. And again, with what we've learned and developed over the years, we can now get to those places. Totally different than anything you'd see like at Glastonbury or some of our other trails like that. They're nice trails for the time, but these are going to be really spectacular. Trail branch we covered. The 29 to 31 is actually way north in the Anderson property. And it's kind of a dream at this point. People ask for a very robust trail, a longer trail opportunity, and that would be it, because we can easily get 6 miles out there. And again, trails for us, it's almost like we're borrowing the land temporarily. We are very adept at changing routes of trails to miss private property, to miss new developments, and we do that all the time. And it's just a function of doing trail work. Cumberland Trail people have to do it, the Appalachian Trail people have to do it. So it's just part of trail building, and we're adept at that. So whatever we do is just temporary, and I think it's I think some of the naturalists like Audubon was definitely in favor of trails, because it's better than letting 2,000 people go out there and just walk where they want to walk, okay? We have a designated place, we give them good footing, and again, our target audience, and we're probably criticized more often because we do too nice of a trail, okay? And it's because of our target audience. I mean, we are looking for typically that 7-year-old with walking sticks and with a dog on a leash. That's our typical customer. When we're out there working, that's what we see. Although it's great when we see the 3-generation walks, grandpa and, daughters and sons and grandkids and, some babes in arms and some out there. So, and, we don't prohibit bicycles, but bicycles easily can go on our trails. We don't want motorized, can't have motorized equipment out there, and horses would tear it up. So we would discourage horses. So other future trails that we have laid out there, and we have a bunch. There is, because of our geology and our geography, there really is no limit to where we can put trails, although we like to stay certainly over 5 acres. Cascade Trail that we opened last year is on 10 acres. And that's 1.5 miles of trail. So 5 acres gets to be kind of small. Moss Creek was, I think, on about 8 acres, and that's about as small as we like to go.
Are there any questions?
Any questions? Okay,
Thank you, John.
Will you just reiterate what you want from the board and the operations budget for 2027?
What we're asking for the board is permission to build on the property And the budget request for 27, which we've submitted in, is, I think it's about 40,000.
I think that's right.
For 27 and another 40,000 for 28. And that is for parking on the north side, and then we can also have parking on the south side, more on the loop side, to give different access. And the geology there is just totally different. So 2 parking lots, but we can, it'll easily take us 2 years to build those trails out. Okay?
Thank you, John. Again, thank you to all of you that are working on the trail. So with that, I will make a motion that we approve the Trail Branch Trail and provide permission to do that with the request for the money being included in our 2027 budget. So it would be tentative approval of that money until we approve the 2027 budget in its entirety.
I second that.
Okay. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. I would like to add, with the trails people, and I'm glad you stayed around, if the community club didn't have you guys, and we had to do all that work by hiring it out, it would be a big number. And it doesn't go unnoticed at all about how much work you do. I mean, I look at those pictures every Wednesday and Saturday of you guys smiling and having a good time, and you know, it's just tremendous. That you're a tremendous asset to this place. And I can't tell you, you know, how many people we hear from that the reason why they're here is because of your trails. And that's really an important part. We actually get a whole lot of quote-unquote potential buyers here because of the trails. So you guys are really not only an arm of allowing us to enjoy it here as residents, but you're a marketing tool for us as well. And that doesn't go unnoticed either. So congratulations and keep it up. We really do appreciate it. Okay. Any board member comments?
I have a comment.
Yep.
Actually, I serve as the board liaison to the Veterans and First Responders Memorial Board. And one of the things I'd like to point out is on June 13th, the VFRM installed the beautiful fountain that is the backdrop for the current memorial. If you're going to Robin Hood Park for July 4th festivities, give you an opportunity to really enjoy the beauty and serenity of that entire place. But the other reason that I am making a comment today is I was, as the liaison, I was asked to facilitate an MOU between the VFRM and the club to address security monitoring at the memorial. The agreement that we drafted spells out the responsibilities of each party regarding installation, operation, and maintenance of security systems at the memorial site. The club will be responsible for procurement, installation, maintenance, and monitoring, while VFRM has the financial responsibility to approve costs and reimburse the club for equipment procurement. I therefore move that the board approve this MOU as a supplement to the original lease agreement of May 26, 2022.
I second that we
Okay.
approve the memorandum of understanding.
I want to make a mention on here, and it's almost embarrassing to even have to say this. People went down to that memorial and put graffiti around, painted stuff, did things like that. There's no room for that, and that makes us have to do things like put security cameras out there. If anyone ever knows about who is doing some of that, we would really like to know, because that is just an embarrassment for this community, and it shouldn't happen. You know, people have given their lives for this country, and to just put a memorial out for that and then have somebody go down and paint things on it is just so far out of line I can hardly even talk about it. So This is the reason why we have to do these things. And somebody thinks that's okay. And just, if you help us out, see anything, if you're down there, go down there, take a look at the new fountain, especially go down there at night. If you haven't driven by there, in early evening, and it's a little, getting the sun going down, or it's actually a little dark, it's a beautiful area. I mean, and if you haven't been down to that memorial, get down there and see it. So, any other discussion?
I had one comment.
Yeah.
I'm the liaison to the Architectural Control Committee, and they have been working on a revised lighting policy. Harry Hibbs have been helping them with that quite a bit. And I think it came up last meeting maybe, and we sent it back for some revisions, and we will be posting that on the website for member comment. We're not voting on that or anything, but we're posting it for member comment. I just want to make sure the members knew that.
We need to
Okay.
vote.
Yeah, we got a motion to vote on, yes. So, any other discussion on the motion for the MOU signing? Hearing none? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. All right. Any other member comments? Or board members' comments? I would give you one other advertisement. I thought, Bill, you might have covered it, but I'm going to cover it. Between July 22nd and 25th is the Tennessee Women's Open. And that usually is a well-attended event. It's a lot of fun. Come out, have a good time. There'll be food and beverage there available. And if we can match the weather we had for the men's, even though we thought it was going to be raining at the time, it'll be a wonderful event. And a lot of people get out in their yards and things like that, walk the course and all that kind of thing. It's truly a great event. And I'll tell you, if you could hear the participants in that, and a couple years ago, several of them got up at the dinner that we had before that, and their stories about what that tournament meant to them and staying here in the community with our members, because a number of them do that, especially a lot of the college kids. It was one of the best, warmest things that I've heard since I've been around here. So they love it when we come, and they love it, the support that they get. And many of them have been here 9, 10 years even, a couple of them even longer than that. So they keep coming back, and this is really a great event, and come out and enjoy it. Any other board member comments? Okay, hearing none. Are there any comments from the floor?
Ted Landers. There was a member survey that was done a while back, just wondering when that might be released, if you've gotten it back from the firm that did it.
Yeah, as we said before, it'll be released in July. We just got, I received that they're up and ready. We're meeting Monday to review the initial results.
Okay, thank you. The other thing is, I really appreciate the interior shots of the video of Druid. That's really good. And I realize that it's a building in process, and so it's not completed. But one of the things that the members wanted was a place that was relatively quiet, because lots of us have hearing aids, and it's just gets really noisy, and that's one of the complaints of many of the restaurants. Is there sound absorbing material that's in there for noise mitigation, or, because right now all I see is hard surfaces, but again, it's in process, so
Not to my knowledge, no.
okay, thank you.
All right. Any other comments? You're going to get your chance.
Dick Osman, Chestnut Ridge Lane. My thing is about the fire department building over there. Last month you came to us and said there was a problem with the trusses, and it was being taken care of. A month later now, the trusses aren't there. They still haven't been up. Now you're the same thing. I just don't want to end up, we have a problem, a mold mitigation problem that we have to take care of because the trusses aren't being put up. The trusses that are there are exposed to the weather. Any framing inside the building is exposed to the weather. The sheathing is laying on the ground in front, exposed to the weather.
Do you have any idea when those trusses are going to get there and be installed? Because a month ago, you said it was being taken care of.
They are.
Yeah, they started to install the trusses they measured wrong. Then they measured wrong the second time. So they're back. I did notice yesterday that the new trusses showed up. We are monitoring that situation to make sure that there's not a lot of moisture in there. Any type of mold, we're gonna make them remove that stuff, put it back in. And we're continuing to monitoring, and we'll watch that issue. I have a lot of experience in mold mitigation. We'll make sure it's taken care of before we cover anything up.
I just drove by it. I didn't see trusses delivered. I saw them take trusses out of there.
Did you look on the left front side of the building, right next to the road?
I'll look when I go home.
Their new
but-
trusses showed up yesterday, and there was a crew that showed up this morning and started to work on that. The material you see in the front is actually cut-offs that they cut off on the front, so that's actually scrap material that's up there.
Okay.
Yep.
Patricia Chambers. Bill, where do we send ideas for Stonehenge? The use of Stonehenge? To you?
You're welcome to send them to me, yes.
To your thing. All right, I'd like to make one right now out loud. One of the reasons we moved here is because we love that Sunday buffet. And I'm just wondering, maybe we could have Sunday buffets there. That's just one idea. Okay, next, can you give us an update on the pickleball construction? I see that the
Yes, pardon me. In fact, I failed to mention that during my comments. Thank you. Right now, the full set of plans is in the hands of the state fire marshal for their review. We don't anticipate any issues with that, but we're waiting on their sign-off. There has been some site preparation work that is underway, as you can see, but that's what we're waiting on. And Harry, if you want to add any updates.
Yeah, we're waiting on the code review and the state fire marshal review. We did have the stormwater prevention plan was approved, and that's what you see all the mitigation stuff going on for that. Actually, with that, they can actually start some of the dirt moving. So you'll see some uptick in that site here in the next few months. So, and we anticipate that the building should be ordered once they get back the review from the state fire marshal and make sure there's no structural changes that need to be made, but doesn't seem to be any issues there. So,
what's the timeline?
Timeline is we're still on track to complete first quarter next year. So we're still very early in the stage to actually give you a date and time, but everything's still moving on target.
I got to say, I love the plan. It looks beautiful.
Yeah.
So thank you. Has there been any plans for the stable land? Or is that just, where the stables was?
No, but that is part of the community master plan review that will be undertaken. The review committee has been assembled. It's M.K. Jacobson, Monica Heisel, myself, Jason, and Mark Carlock. We have contacted, as you know, it was put on hold, but all of the firms that were selected have agreed that they remain interested. So we will begin interview process in July and hope to have our selection and recommendation by the end of July, 1st of August. And then their mobilization schedule is anywhere around 30 to 45 days. So they would start evaluating our entire community and giving us their feedback.
Okay. Isaac, you just said something about lighting. What is this lighting thing? I'm sorry, I'm not up on that.
Yeah, so the Architectural Control Committee has a lighting policy, and they have been working over, as long as I've been there, on this kind of revising the lighting policy. And we're going to be posting it for member comment.
What kind of lighting? You're not talking street lamps, are you?
Primarily residential lighting, like the current. We already have a policy. A lot of people probably don't know.
You mean around people's homes?
Yes.
Okay,
yes,
okay.
yes.
All right. Okay, thank you.
Okay? Any other comments? We'll get you next, Steve. No, you're fine.
Jean Geib, or Jeannie. Scott. I was looking at the Governmental Relations Committee meeting minutes. Were there really only 2 meetings this year?
I'm going to have to defer to that. I'm not on that committee anymore.
Oh, you're not?
No.
That's me, and I'm a little behind getting them submitted, Gene.
Oh, so there were meetings?
Yes.
Okay, the only 2 I saw were April?
Yeah, like I said, I'm behind getting.
So
them
were there
posted.
meetings in May?
Yes.
Okay. Monica, several months back, when I followed up about the road discussions between the board and the county, you indicated that you were close to coming out with a presentation on the process. So I'm following up again.
Greg, I know you,
Yeah.
you were part of the last one.
Yeah, we're working on an MOU right now. We had a meeting this past week to get with the county about how the process is going to work. We got hung up with the last meeting where there was some differences of opinions how the process is going to work. The presentation will be after we figure that out, and right now, and Harry did a great job with getting the county to approve. How many roads did we get approved last time at the Planning Commission? 9?
Yeah.
Okay. So we're starting that process to get those roads approved and get it over to the county for maintenance. But the process of how we want this to work has still got to get worked out. So we're still working on it, but I think that we're going to have a process here in not too long of time from our perspective. Now we got to get the county to agree to it, okay? And it doesn't do us any good to have a presentation without that agreement in place, because one side's going to say, no, that's not what we're going to do. So that's where we are. And yes, it's taken a whole lot longer than any of us thought.
I thought it was more about what the process currently was. So you're trying to change the
We're trying to
process?
fix some of the gaps that we know that are there,
Okay.
okay?
Like getting property accepted by the county.
Right.
There wasn't a defined and written process of that. And so
Okay.
we're looking through all of those. We're also meeting with the commissioners and Stanley Hall and people like that to find out how we can best make it easier for them to approve our roads.
Okay.
Once
Well, and probably the biggest area that we're going to need to work on is telling our membership how to interact with all of that, okay? When do you need to go to the county? When do you come to us? How do we work with you to make sure we keep track of what work is being done, what the county's signing up for? That's the stuff that's taking a lot more detail.
Okay, so you still have been having ongoing meetings?
Yeah.
Okay.
And we will.
Excuse me. Bill, when I recently asked you about the streetlight plan, as far as which lights will be kept, you stated there is no master plan for street lighting. Currently, as existing street lighting burns out, they are not replaced by VEC unless the ACC BOD requests it due to mitigating circumstances. Each instance is reviewed on a case-by-case basis. In my mind, I would think there would be a master plan for which streetlights we're going to keep. At one point, I know it was talked about that it was like at major intersections, we would keep streetlights. I'm kind of baffled why there isn't a master plan.
Let me address that one. There is a plan. There are lights that we have designated as we would replace them, okay? Off the top of my head, I can't give you all of them. But there is a list of those lights and that's where you get into the question, and we've had a couple appeals on this, where a light will burn out, and if it's not on that list, VEC won't, unless they get a letter from us, usually it comes from Harry, that says, yeah, replace that bulb. So there is a list, okay?
Okay. Is
And
there
we can
any
make that
reason I
available.
can't-
We
Can I see the list?
Well, what we can do is we can talk about this next month, and we'll let everybody hear about it, okay?
Okay,
Fair?
okay.
Yep.
All right, I think that's all I've got.
Thank you.
Thank you. And just in case David Stout is listening, I hope I didn't offend you by asking questions.
Good morning. Steve Locker, 150 Delbridge Lane. Greg, or anybody else on the board, when did you first learn about the 300 home development that's going to be taking place on St. George, or around St. George?
We heard that there was going to be some development potentially happening, I would guess, oh geez, maybe a couple months ago. We still don't know the details of it, okay? We have not seen exactly what plotted lots there are. So these are the declarants' jobs to talk about development. Our job is, like in our CNRs and the voluntary compliance letter, is to get sewer in when those things are being announced. We have not had that meeting yet, okay? So we had no say on where the development was going to be. The only thing that the board, that the community club got involved with is the lots, as we have the agreement with the declarant, where we will sell them, and they have right of first refusal on RC lots. They also are allowed, through our agreement with the county, to buy county lots. That's been the sum of our involvement at this point.
Okay, I appreciate that.
I first saw it on Facebook Wednesday night.
Yeah.
That's what
Well, that was the first time I saw anything, yeah.
I sent it to the board then.
Yeah.
I understand the declarant's role in this, and I respect that. So you heard about it a couple of months ago.
Well, we heard that there was going to be something, that 300 wasn't necessarily talked about, none of those level of details.
The plan was underway.
Okay.
Yeah.
The location,
No.
volume.
Yeah.
So-
At that point, we didn't, and we still don't know where down there exactly it's going to be.
Understand that. So a couple months ago. My guess is that development has been in Mr. Anderson's mind and probably in his plans for a little bit longer than 2 months. So I guess my question, or you can interpret it as a concern, that development is going to have an impact on this community. And granted, we may not know exactly what that impact is going to be, but it is going to impact us. The fact that he's had that in his planning for longer than 2 months, and the fact that he only shared that plan with you 2 months ago?
Let's be careful. We have not shared any plan, okay?
Well, okay.
If you put a gun to my head right now, or even 2 months ago, and said, where is this going to happen? The answer is, I don't know.
The fact that he did not share until 2 months ago his intent.
Well,
No, he's always looking to what is next in his development.
And we were
Right.
highly encouraging
We're aware of that.
south of Peavine Road
Okay.
to add some
And-
variety.
To me, that begs the question, where is the partnership? Where is the
It's there.
cooperation?
We have ongoing conversation. Just because we don't know the specifics about the location
Right.
at the time doesn't mean we're not having conversations.
Okay, and I'm not focusing on you. I'm not focusing on
I'm
the board.
talking for the board as a whole, and I'm talking about me.
Well, and I'm not talking about the board.
What are
I
you
just
talking
think it would have been maybe an act of good faith to have shared that information with the board a little sooner than 2 months before
Well,
it was
hold
announced
on,
on
hold-
Facebook.
hold on.
That's his opinion. You can have your
Yeah.
opinion. That's fine.
Well, the other thing I would share with you, Steve, is since I've been on the board, we've heard things about what the declarant's going to do, and some of it has never taken place. So just because they say, well, we're thinking about something, until last week when it's announced, you can't do a whole lot of planning on that to say,
Okay.
okay, but that is the declarant's role.
I understand
That's what
that.
they're here for.
I'm not questioning
Yeah,
that.
I understand that.
And Scott, thank you. Shifting gears, and I want to put this in context, because the question I'm going to ask, you may misunderstand it. I am not disagreeing with your comments about the advertising signs on Peavine. I'm not challenging them. To be very personally honest with you, I am as disgusted by them as you are. And I think anybody with any common sense would understand that the only thing that they accomplish is damaging the reputation of this community and hurting our home values. But just, and so I ask out of curiosity, Isaac, have you noticed any impact in any way on your home sales or interest in homes as a result of those signs?
They've been up 2 days. I mean, when are you going to know the impact of it?
Well, one's been up multiple weeks or months.
I don't know how you would quantify that, but yes, I don't think it's helpful. I don't know how you would quantify, you know, if that impacted sales or not, but it certainly is not helpful for new people coming to the community to
I
see
can
that.
speak operationally. Mary Jo Page does receive many comments about it, questions about what's going on. And when she meets with her on the her role on the tourism board and with the county chamber of commerce, it's very difficult for her and her job.
I could only imagine. Thank you. And then the last question, I've noticed that we have not been blessed by Mr. Chadwell's presence over the last 3 months. Is there a reason for that?
We are just bringing him in when we think there's a need for him to be here.
Okay.
Okay?
And
this week, he happens to be on vacation.
Okay.
Okay.
And Mary Kay, just a few minutes ago, proposed and a resolution was approved to continue the services with our current auditor. Am I correct on that?
Yes.
How often do we do that? Every 2 or 3 years?
No, we annually approve the contract for, or extending a contract to the auditors.
Okay, and the only suggestion I would make is maybe we should consider doing the same thing for our law firm. Take that for what it's worth. Scott, that's an opinion. Thank you.
Jessica Speaker Newton, 12 Forest Hill Terrace. I wanted to go back and ask you a couple of questions regarding the 9 roads that were accepted. I saw in the paper that 3 of the roads were kind of concerning to me, being Catoosa Boulevard, Forest Hill Drive, and Layton. And those, I mean, to my knowledge, have been pretty well-established roads. So my question to the board is, what mechanism or policy do we have in place that we are turning these over to the county? Because my recollection is CNRs is they go into common property, right? Once that they are completed. And so we, the residents, are responsible for the roads. Do we have a policy in place that once a road is complete that we turn it over to the county or at least enlist that?
Harry, do you want to address that a little bit?
We don't have a policy in place on what roads we turn over. It's just based on, those roads are, we use Bill Heidel, his vast experience here of the roads that already meet the county standard. They have to meet the county standard before they'll take them. So we're working on those roads. Those were the newest roads that were completed that we had, the newest asphalt. We know we wouldn't have a problem those being accepted. So we're working on those ones that we know will get accepted first, and then going down as we go through those. So it's just based on experience and what will meet the county road, and working with Stanley Hall too, and the county to make sure that we're all in agreement that those roads meet his standards, and we shouldn't have an issue getting those turned over to the county as they should have been back when they were finished and developed. The Catoosa, there was a discrepancy between what the county had and what we had as far as distances. That's why we resubmitted that road to have it done entirety. From my understanding, from, I think it was Forest Hill down to where it meets with Stonehenge, when that was completed, that was never put on the county road list, so we just added at that point. So those are some of the reasons and the guidelines you're using to turn these roads over to the county.
Stay close.
Yes, ma'am.
Were there any maintenance agreements or obligations that were signed into with the county once these roads were accepted?
No, we don't sign any maintenance agreement with them. The MOU that Greg talked about we're considering is, that we're going through is how we're going to work with the county, since we have a roads department and they have a roads department also. Things that we want to do, and we want to keep this community up to standard of what we think is a standard, to make sure we can work with the county and keep those standards up and not violate any of the county ordinances at the time.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
And then, to me, and this is a comment versus a question, I would think that we would get a policy in place first about turning over our roads before we go through and make a memorandum with the county. We should get our own house in order.
Well, I think what we're trying to do with the MOU is we've got current roads, and a lot of that MOU is talking about what things we can and cannot do on them. And that's a real issue for us, okay? Like, if there's a real quick pothole, we want to be able to take care of that. So it's kind of a chicken and the egg, Jessica. I mean, we want to get that stuff done because that's daily work that the road department has to do. And I agree with you about the I don't know if it'll be a policy, it'll be a process or something, or it may even find its way in the MOU. But yeah, this was a surprise cleanup on aisle 9 kind of thing. So we didn't, I mean, it even got a whole lot worse than that a couple years ago when I got a call from the mayor. So there's a lot here that just, and I can't tell you, I honestly can't tell you how it got to that. You know, if you would have asked me 4 years ago, were all those roads like Catoosa and that accepted? My answer would have been absolutely. We found out they weren't. So.
It was actually a real advantage when John Wedgeworth got on the
Yeah.
planning commission. He made us aware of
What
some
was
of
going
these
on?
things that we assumed were accepted that weren't.
Sorry.
In one of the meetings, we went through all the roads and okay, let's get all these things listed, and we did hear from the county, you can't give us those all at once, because we cannot approve all those now. So give us a little bit of time, because whenever they approve those 9 roads, now it affects the maintenance work that they have to do.
Right.
And they have to make sure they have the budget for doing that.
But as we're talking about expanding Fairfield and building roads, right now might be the time to put a policy in place for actually getting those roads
Well-
turned over to the
Well,
county.
by and large.
Greg, can I make a comment?
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
we build new roads, we
There
work
you go.
with the county, and they're built to county specs, and our roads are turned over
Yes.
to the county. I can't speak to historic roads. I think
Right.
that was sort of somehow lost in translation back then. And luckily, they figured it out and are trying to remedy. But any new road we build is built to county specs and turned over to the county.
And one of the things I would also like to know from the board is, members already pay county taxes for property taxes. We already put a substantial amount of our assessments into the roads. How does the board prevent the members from paying multiple times for the same, road maintenance?
I don't understand your question.
I think I got it, Greg.
Okay.
I think one of the differences that's been pointed out to us in some of the meetings with the county and other people involved with the roads is we have one standard. Our roads that we think are bad, like the pothole that you discussed, and we had one, I would have called it a sinkhole, but anyhow, and we went and fixed it right away. As soon as we bring that up, they'll point to hundreds of those in the county that are nowhere close to that level. So I do think, and it's my opinion at this point in time, I do think we will still end up doing things because we have a higher expectation and we have an awful lot of curvy roads and people a little older driving on them. But we should get this to a process to where the main roads are all part of the county toll, and that we only have to ask them to add a few here and there instead of the virtual list that we have right now.
For instance, when we had the washout recently on Kenwood, we could have opted to just put up barriers and caution and waited on the county. I think this, in people's ingress and egress to their homes and all of that, we would be at the mercy of the county, which is what other people throughout the county go through. I don't think that's the tolerance level here, but there is additional cost associated with us taking on that responsibility that's truly the responsibility of the county. And we are being part of this MOU is really emphasizing a lot of that. But that's the nature of the budget and the road reality here in Cumberland County.
The other thing I'd add with that, Jessica, and all it takes is about a 5-minute meeting with the county. The first thing they'll tell you is, it's underfunded. So the big thing there is, and that, I think years ago, the community club understood that for exactly the reason that Bill stated. So they wanted to do more. So they started taking on some of these jobs, because if you go out to other county roads, go out to Eden Ridge sometime, that road out there, I wouldn't want to drive on that one day a month, let alone, several times a day. And that's just the state of the county. One of the nice things is that we have very low taxes. One of the bad things is we have very low taxes, because things like roads don't get funded where they should. Now, I'll give the county a lot of credit, and Colleen spoke to it when she was up here. They've tried to find extra funds and give them to the roads. They know they have a problem, but they've looked at it from a state perspective to try to get a wheel tax in. That didn't go anywhere at the state level. I don't know if they're really pushing for that. Now, Joe Sherrill months ago said, this is a county issue. If you really want to talk to somebody about it, come to the county commissioners meetings. But the fact of the matter is that this is an underfunded project.
It's the gas tax.
Also, the state's funding for counties is a formula that is, I don't even know anybody can understand it. Or it's based on miles of roads per county coupled with population. Cumberland County is huge amount of miles of roads, but due to our population, that we do not get the level of funding that is needed for all of those roads from the state support. And the state itself is in a crisis point with roads due to the moratorium that was put on roads back during COVID by the governor. And, they're well behind on the road needs across the state, to be quite honest. But the funding mechanism for the counties is a problem as well.
It's from our gas tax.
I just wanted to make sure the board was aware. I mean, if we're going to go into another maintenance agreement with the county, we're already paying for the roads twice, so we really need to be looking at what we're doing.
Well, let's be clear. We do not have a maintenance agreement with the county.
That's what I'm asking.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
We do not.
Thank you. And then, as far as the St. George development and those roads, will there be any additional assessments or road fees that are member funded with that development?
No, we're not putting any money into the roads.
Okay, and so those will be turned over to the county as soon as the roads are built, and, okay.
That'll be a declarant responsibility.
Okay, awesome, thank you.
Okay? All right?
Tom Ratcliffe. Quickly, hey, Bill, that upcoming events calendar for the food and beverage, it could be on there too. Greg, I have some thoughts on what I think we need, and since we're coming up to the budget season, I'd like to share them with the board, have for consideration, both for funding now as well as consideration in the budget. I'll give you them afterwards, but a few things. So there's 5 points in it. One, suggestion that we think about hiring in-house counsel. We have in-house financial representation, very strong. We might want to consider that in terms of for in-house, and how that might be a reflection in terms of how the members might view that in-house counsel and be able to use them. Second part is, I mentioned it before, but doing a compliance audit. Mary Kay did a nice job of outlining why we do a financial audit. And those same things would apply to a compliance audit. The only difference is, instead of financially, we're dealing with the legal part of it and our policies and how they connect legally with us. That's how we've gotten some trouble before. There seems to be a reluctance by the board to even acknowledge this form of an audit. But in my opinion, it could go a long ways to instilling a lot of the I hate to use the word trust, but I will, in terms of how our policies are actually enacted. And I'll give you a simple one. We've got the amenity reserve fee. That is a policy that we have. That policy doesn't even connect if you have somebody actually look at it in terms of that policy and how it ties to members' rights, the determinations of, you know, whether an exception might apply or might not apply, and then, really. Okay, I won't go into the examples. The next part of it is also looking at the Compliance Review Committee, potentially in using an in-house counsel to take and capitalize.
Are you talking about the
I'm suggesting.
Policy Review Committee?
I'm suggesting maybe we have something that expands upon that called a Compliance Review Committee. Next one is create and publish a sewer and road master plan. I understand when I say published, the angst about property owners. But there were 114 property owners that got notified about had solicitation for their properties to be purchased. Didn't even know why, but they got in so the value now of those properties has increased by the announcement.
That's time.
Yeah, I understand. I'll give you this to look at.
All right. Any other comments? Thank you.
Rick Gilbert, 16 Heather Glen Drive. My wife and I moved here about 14 months ago and just love it. Just absolutely love it. I wanted to point out that there might be one amenity that we are not providing to our members that would be quite easy to put in place, and that's a disc golf course. I know it reminds me of going back to college days and throwing the Frisbee in the quad, but a disc golf course really goes right along with the trails. And I happened to be home, I tuned in to watch this, and I saw the trail presentation. So I kind of shot down here to bring this up. Disc golf has really changed in the last 10 years. And I did an AI search, and about 29 people played golf at real golf courses last year. About 24 million played pickleball. 4 to 5 million people played disc golf. And it's amazingly easy to actually implement a disc golf course and maintain it. And I've driven around here for the last 14 months, and I see all these grass roads that are future plans. A little bit widening on those, and you've got a disc golf course. Costs about $1,000 to sink a basket, another $700 or $800 to put a 5x10 cement pad in, which is a tee box. And one other fact I found in researching this, the fastest growing age group playing this sport, 55 to 70, and that's by percentage. It has changed since it came out a lot of years ago. So, and it's also a very active sport for especially those of us that are getting up there in age. It's about a 2.5-mile walk in the woods, up and down hills. Very inexpensive to put in, easy to maintain, and follows right along with our popular trail policy. So I think it's something that should be considered, especially hearing about the stable possibilities. So, thanks.
Thank you.
Now, only one thing to say.
What's that?
Go Bears, man.
Go, that's right. That's right.
And where'd you go to high school?
Some little place called Bloomington High. Yeah.
Oh, there's a connection. This is your graduate.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Nico Sergio, 62 Brummel Lane. Fairfield Glade Community Club board members and community members. St. George Village has been announced as the new 300-lot residential community within Fairfield Glade. The promotional description presents it as a walkable, connected, and thoughtfully planned with asphalt roads, sidewalks, lighting, landscape, common areas, walking trails, and gathering space. That may sound positive, but before this project moves forward, the community club members deserve a clear answer about ownership, control, financial responsibility, and long-term maintenance obligations. Fairfield Glade was started in 1970, operated for years under declarant control, and since 1997 has operated through Fairfield Glade Community Club with covenants and restrictions, bylaws, policies, assessments, amenities, infrastructure, and long-term obligations funded by members. The proposed St. George Village area lies within the existing Fairfield Glade platted community. Based on current property information, ownership within the proposed boundaries include approximately Fairfield Glade Land Tennessee LLC, 32 properties, Fairfield Glade Community Club, 93 properties, Cumberland County, 39 properties, Wyndham, 26 properties. Together, those four ownership groups account for about 190 of the 300 properties within the proposed St. George Village boundaries. That raises serious questions for every community club member. Will a community club-owned lots be sold, transferred, exchanged, or committed to this development? What agreements already exist between FGH Land Tennessee LLC, the community club, Wyndham, and Cumberland County regarding these properties? Will the community club be responsible for any part of the cost of roads, sidewalks, lighting, drainage, utilities, landscape, walking trails, gathering areas, or other infrastructure? Who will own and maintain the sidewalks, lighting, landscaped areas, trails, gathering spaces, signage, stormwater systems, and other common improvements after construction? Will St. George Village create new long-term maintenance costs for all Fairfield Glade members? Will the development require changes to community club policies, sewer rules, road responsibilities, amenities, assessments, or capital spending priorities? Will future St. George Village property owners pay the same assessments as other Fairfield Glade members, or will there be special arrangements? Will any community club resources, staff time, legal expenses, engineering expenses, or financial guarantees be used to support this development?
Nico, 3 minutes. No.
Both Jessica and Steve went way past 3 minutes, so I'm continuing. Before any community club property, money, infrastructure, staff resources, legal authority, or future maintenance responsibility is committed.
Are there any other comments by anyone?
Members should receive full written disclosure of all agreements, proposed obligations, estimated cost, and long-term
I guess then we'll have to take a
investment.
motion to adjourn the meeting.
This is not a question
Is
of
there
whether
a
members
motion?
support attractive
All those
new
in
homes
favor?
or
Is there a
thoughtful
second?
growth. This issue
Okay.
is whether the
All
community
those in
club is
favor?
protecting its
Aye.
members before allowing a
Opposed?
major development
We
to
stand
move forward
adjourned.
inside our existing POA community. St. George Village may be walkable and connected, but it must also be transparent, financially fair, and member first. Respectfully, Nico Sergio.
Yeah. To do what? I'm sorry.